This first day of free agency has been a wild one. I mean, even leading up to this first day, there was crazy signings, trades, and releases all around the league that's going to change what's going to happen next year big time. So in this video, we're going to talk about what happened leading up to this first day in the NFC South. Starting right now. First day of the legal tampering period turned out to be a little bit surprising. The biggest headlines that were coming from the NFC South were who was leaving and going to other teams. And now that the day before and the first official day of the free agency has come, you're finally seeing these guys move some money around and make some money moves. But I'm Aaron Duncan here at the Necessary Blunt Sports Talk. I give a recap and analysis of the best division in the NFL, the NFC South. And I start my videos by saying, what up, dude? Man, I give recap and analysis of the whole league in general. So if you want to see videos about the Bucs, Panthers, Saints, or the Falcons, go ahead and subscribe button below, guys. Give the video a thumbs up. But hey, real quick, let me know what you think the biggest and craziest move was. I know the Odell Beckham trade was pretty big, but there was a lot of stuff that happened also, like Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Let me know what you think the best move and biggest impact move was in the NFL thus far. So, of course, I got to give love to all four teams in the division, and I'll put timestamps down below in the comments if you want to skip through these guys because you just hate your NFC South rivals that much. But I advise everybody to look through and pay attention to what's going around the division and see how your team matches up with some of the competition. Let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, Desean Jackson being traded back to the Eagles was a move. I talked about that in the live stream, of course. Make sure you guys tune in when I do those. Keep those post notifications on. That way you don't miss that. But I talked about him leaving a little bit, but with the speed leaving, and you know what Bruce Arians' offense is predicated on, stretching the field and going downfield, the Bucs made a corresponding move and brought in Breshad Perriman, the former first-round pick, a former 4.25 40-yard dash guy. He was a first-round pick in the same year in 2015 when Jameis Winston came in. He's bounced around, of course, with the Browns and the Ravens, but he's had some injuries. But we'll see if he can bounce back and be that deep threat guy. I know John Brown was kind of desired because he had experience with the Cardinals, but Breshad Perriman may be faster. And if he can stay healthy, maybe he can be more productive. It's just going to be up to James to get on the same page with him, unfortunately, like he couldn't do with Desean Jackson on that deep ball. Also big was the Odell Beckham signing by the Buccaneers, a one-year deal. He's a former Cardinal. Also, he has experience with Arians and Todd Bowles. He's the undersized safety slash linebacker slash hybrid. I mean, he's like a freaking electric gas running vehicle, man. He can do it all, man. He's versatile. He's, like I said, he's a hybrid. I mean, he's a guy that knows what the system that Todd Bowles runs, and he can run a couple different things, and he helps fill two needs that the Buccaneers need, and they need some help in the secondary and at linebacker. And we knew once Quan hit the market that you can't be too mad about how much money he got because the Buccaneers weren't going to be able to afford that if we knew what his market value was going to be. Even coming off being injured, he got that money in San Fran. Salute to him. However, Odell Beckham is a good pickup for the Cardinals because, like I said, you need a good mix of vets that know the system to go with the guys that are already there to help make that transition from one coaching staff to another pretty smooth. Last thing, of course, we see Peyton Barber got re-signed for a one-year deal. The team's leading rusher last year did not break 1,000 yards, close to 1,000 yards from scrimmage behind a pretty much piss-poor offensive line that came into run blocking. Brought him back on a one-year deal. Of course, they brought in Andre Ellington, another former Cardinal, to help make that transition smooth from one system to another. And, of course, Rojo, the second-round pick last year. We'll see what happened to do by committee. Hopefully somebody can step up. If they improve the offensive line, maybe we can get some kind of resemblance of a running game to help balance it out, to take some pressure off Jameis. I'm glad to see that him getting robbed and getting his car broken into and losing that playbook, iPad, whatever, did not affect him being re-signed by the team. Now, who all knows some crackhead on the streets in Atlanta that probably has an iPad with Dirk Cutter's offense in it or Bruce Arians' offense in it, maybe. Who knows? Thank goodness for technology, they were able to remotely wipe the laptop and iPad, whatever, that had the playbook on it, and no harm, no foul. The Atlanta Falcons, their biggest need we knew, of course, was going into there was D-line and offensive line, and they haven't really done a ton lately, but I know they did make those moves today, the corresponding moves to sign two guards, Jamon Brown and James Carpenter, the former Jet and the former Ram, respectively. These guys, they're pretty big. They're both former tackles, both 6'4", 6'5", 300 plus pounds, 320, one's 320, one's 340. So these guys are mammoths on the inside. These are big human beings, not just big offensive guards. So That'll be a different thing. Maybe I know they usually used to be built on finesse. That's kind of the approach that the Falcons used to take when they ran the zone blocking scheme. But with these big type of dudes they got now, they can play a little bit more smash mouth football. Hopefully change the mentality and the mindset of the offensive running game, and hopefully improve their short yardage game, which really struggled for the past few years because they try to be more finesse than muscle. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a bunch about these guys because they're offensive linemen and nobody knows too much. But I know Carpenter has experience playing with Dan Quinn. He has 2 rings with Dan Quinn. He has a ring, and of course those 2 Super Bowl appearances with Dan Quinn in Seattle. He also played with Julio at Alabama and got a national championship ring with him. So he has a little rapport right there. Jamon Brown, like I said, he's a former Giant and Ram. He played for the Rams in 2017 when they had their #1 offense. So he was a starter. So he was a starter on a good team to have experience. I mean, you can't really get mad. They'll compete for that position. You'll see what happens. The next thing was the cutting of Ryan Schrader. Of course, you knew that was probably going to come eventually. After being benched down the stretch this past season, those last 4 games, he got benched. They went ahead and set him free. Let him hit the market. He's going to be designated as a June 1st release. That way they say, I don't know how much money they said. They said maybe $6 million. But with Ty Sambrailo kind of getting down the stretch and getting that extension, looks like he'll be the guy going forward. They're going to give him a chance at least to compete. He'll probably be the first guy on the depth chart, at least going to the camp. I still expect them to probably draft a tackle maybe to try to compete and push him a little bit and maybe develop. Hopefully we'll see down the stretch, but they gave him that 3-year extension, so of course they're going to give him the first leg up when it comes to that tackle position. Another headline, of course, is Tevin Coleman not returning to the Falcons. We knew it was coming because they just couldn't afford him. You're not going to pay running back starting money to 2 running backs. You already got Devontae. He went, of course, to Shanahan out in San Fran to a system he's familiar with. He'll be sharing carries with Matt Breida. I think it's a good fit for him out there. Salute to him. You knew he wasn't coming back, but it is what it is. The New Orleans Saints. So we're not going to talk about the signing of the reserve guys like Banjo or Roberson or even the kicker, Will Lutz. That's all well and good. Let's talk about the juicy stuff. You know what I'm talking about? The running back position. Now, my offensive priority list that I talked about for the Saints, I'll link it up somewhere maybe. I talked about the priority had to be to let Mark Ingram walk because he was going to want starter money for a running back, and he deserved it. And the Saints weren't going to be able to give that to him. And since he was probably his last contract of his career, he wasn't going to give a hometown discount to those guys. And it was kind of weird because once you kind of like, it wasn't a done deal. You know, there were talks and conversations that were being had with Mark Ingram, but you really thought that maybe it was a chance that he would come back since he didn't get signed right away. But then the news broke out of nowhere that Latavius Murray signed with the Saints on a 4-year, $14 million deal, and the writing was on the wall at that point. And it was just only a matter of hours before we heard the announcement that the Ravens were going to be signing Mark Ingram. So Mark will be a feature back. He'll get that feature back money, and for the first time in his career, he'll be the man. You know, he's usually always shared carries, whether it's been in New Orleans or in Alabama. So it'll be interesting to see what he does as being the man. Can he hold up? Being able to carry that mail. I mean, the Ravens, they do have some other running backs that they like to split carries with anyway. However, it'll be a different system, definitely for sure, a different type of quarterback and a different mentality. So I see him getting a lot of work up there in Baltimore for a team that likes to run the ball and play defense with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. So a lot of you fans, when I made that video, said that he needed to walk, were a lot salty because he was a mindset. Like he used a mentality. He had the smash mouth mentality that the Saints needed. He was an identity for them. Like, dude, running backs are a dime a dozen, man. Impact on the field is huge, but there's a lot of good backs out there that you can find, whether it's late in the draft or whenever. Like I said, Lindsey, the running back from the Broncos, was undrafted. Alvin Kamara was a 3rd-round pick. Now he's probably one of the best backs in the league. You can find these guys diamonds in the rough if you look hard enough, but Latavius Murray is a bruiser with behind the good O-line that the Saints have. He'll probably do numbers anyway. It'll be a good compliment piece to Alvin Kamara. Last but not least, the Carolina Panthers. Real quick, I just want to get into these whiny Panthers fans that were complaining about, that didn't like Eric Reed anyway, but they wanted to complain about how much he was getting paid. Oh, we paid Eric Reed 3 years, $22 million, $7 million a year. Like, why are we paying so much for a guy that did this, that, whatever? First of all, Eric Reed was going to be one of the better safeties on the market. To see what the Honey Badger and Earl Thomas and Landon Collins got paid, $13, $14, $15 million, twice as much as Eric Reed. We got to steal. You got to bargain with Eric Reed. You better thank your lucky stars we did get him for that price and he didn't touch the market, because we probably either would have left him to go to somewhere else, or we wouldn't have been able to afford him just because what he was going to command had he hit the open market. These guys got paid twice as much as Eric Reed, but they're better, but not twice as better as Eric Reed. So you got to be happy with the deal that Marty Hurney made there. And I also want to say kudos to Thomas Davis and Devin Funchess on moving on, getting a contract for somewhere else. Devin Funchess, the deal that he got, 1 year, $13 million, that just shows that other teams aren't as sold on him as the Panthers were either. They're kind of skeptical. They didn't give him a long-term deal. I know he was beat up last year, but he's healthy now. They're not sure where he's going to be. Can he be that good quality number 2 wide receiver? We know he's probably not number 1 receiver, but can he be that quality number 2? Thomas Davis, he's in LA. I'm happy for him, man. Keep the hope alive. I was hoping he was going to keep playing for us. He's one of my favorite all-time Panthers, but it is what it is. He had to move on. I'm just glad he didn't go to a division rival because that happens a lot of times with the Panthers, and it comes back to bite them in the butt because those guys are hungry to go back and play against their former team. But the big news came in the past 2 days with Matt Paredes being signed by the Panthers. The one of the better centers in the league, actually. He's pretty durable. Up until last year when he broke his leg, he had been a statement of consistency and durability playing for the Broncos. He got a ring in 2015 and was the offensive captain for the team that year too. So it was great to see Marty actually go out and do that on a pretty team-friendly deal. I know he's getting $9 million a year, but it only counts like $4 million against the cap. So it still leaves the flexibility. You get a quality player to replace Khalil that can anchor that line. He's a vet, so he knows what he's doing, and he's got plenty of starts under his belt. Once again, we signed a guy from the Broncos that got injured and is a quality player. Like last year when we signed C.J. Anderson. Hopefully we don't mess this up like we did the C.J. Anderson situation, and it is what it is. I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. But the big news came today is seeing the Panthers agree to a 1-year deal with Darrell Williams, the former second-team All-Pro right tackle who's coming off that knee and leg injury from last year, one of the better O-linemen on the unit. But apparently the market for him out there wasn't as great as expected because once I saw he didn't get scooped up right away, I thought the Panthers might still have a chance to get him because usually a lot of those linemen were getting picked up by different teams, and to see Darrell still out there, it was a pretty good sign. Maybe it's not a great sign because he was still out there and he's a quality O-lineman, but to get him on a 1-year deal for $7 million is pretty generous. Hopefully they can kick Moten over to left tackle. The thing left to do is figure out what to do with Speed Bump McGee himself, Matt Khalil. And you can't cut him because you probably owe him too much money. Maybe Dave Gettleman will trade Saquon Barkley for Matt Khalil since he's out here just giving away players for next to nothing and pretty much purging the whole team. Especially since he's the one that gave Matt Khalil that contract anyway before he left the Panthers. So you never know what can happen. Guys, like I said, let me know down below in the comments what you thought the biggest move out of the division was and for the league in general. But I'm Aaron Ducker here at the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss anything I drop. You know, free agency, this news is dropping like it's hot. So I got to stay on top. I'm doing it for y'all guys, man, and dang, that rhymed a little bit. But anyway, I'm rambling. Without further ado, I'm signing off. I'll see you next time. Peace.